Interests and concerns about food security have been heightened worldwide as food protectionism has intensified due to recent climate change, COVID-19, and the Ukraine-Russian war. Export restrictions on food and fertilizer increased, and the FAO Food Price Index rose dramatically. Climate change, pandemics, and war, which are the causes of the global food crisis, are difficult to control despite international cooperation efforts, making it a bigger crisis for the countries vulnerable to food security. The GCC countries, which rely on imports for more than 90% of their food, have tried to expand domestic production through subsidies, even at higher costs than imports. But Saudi Arabia's wheat self-sufficiency policy has shown that this cannot be a sustainable model. Saudi Arabia achieved wheat self-sufficiency through astronomical investments and subsidies in 1984 when it provided $1 billion in purchase subsidies, $286 million in agricultural machinery subsidies, and $2.3 billion in interest-free agricultural funding. The price of the wheat the government bought for the farmers was $1,000 a ton, which is 5 to 6 times the world price. They could become one of the world's largest wheat exporters, but when the groundwater began to rapidly deplete, they gradually reduced wheat purchases and finally shifted their policy to importing again in 2014. Despite astronomical investments for more than 30 years, they had to return to the wheat importer when they stopped subsidizing. As a result, they tried to establish overseas production bases to achieve food security, but as the war between Ukraine and Russia, the major wheat producers, caused the price of wheat to soar, wheat producers stopped exporting their own food security. As a result, it turned out that the diversification of the global supply chain and overseas production may be helpful in normal times, but not for food security situations. Grains such as wheat, corn, and rice can be stored for long, so expanding stockpiles can partially solve the problem. Meanwhile, in the case of fresh vegetables that are difficult to stockpile, supplying high-quality, inexpensive vegetables through diversification of import supply chains may cause domestic cultivation to be reduced due to a lack of price competitiveness. However, expanding domestic production by trade barriers and subsidies may limit consumer access to various high-quality vegetables, which makes it a dilemma. For this reason, the trigger of the food crisis can be caused more by the instability of vegetable prices than that of grain prices. The Minister of UAE Food Security defined food security as having access to sufficient, safe, and nutritious food at affordable prices at all times. What are ways to achieve this? Midbar's food security solution is to maintain diverse global supply chains and minimal domestic farms during normal times, while stockpiling farms that can operate in conjunction with the existing farms in the event of food security. In other words, we propose a way to stockpile domestic food production capacity. Midbar's air farm is an inflatable aeroponic farm that can be deflated and stored spatially efficiently. Since it is lightweight, it can be loaded into elevators and installed within half a day at anywhere in a building, basement, or rooftop. In addition, a multi-hop method enables to control 50 farms to operate simultaneously using one gateway. If drone relay technology currently under development is applied, the installation distance between farms may not be restricted. Based on leaf vegetables, 90% is made up of water. Even the best advanced farming facilities cannot produce vegetables without water. Since Air Farm reduced the water requirement of existing smart farms by 95%, it allows growing the same amount of vegetables with only 5% of water. Existing smart farms say they save 95% of water, but considering the water discarded after cultivation, water used per unit area is often higher than that of conventional agriculture, which is a representative example of greenwashing. Air Farm can grow 1,000 leaf vegetables with only 100 liters of water because of the technology to harvest and reuse water vapor emitted by leaves. When the atmospheric water harvesting device, which is currently being developed in cooperation with Israeli companies, is completed, it will be able to supply all the water needed from the atmosphere without having to supply even the 100 liters of water. Midbar is developing an eco-friendly freshwater device that combines technologies transferred from the Korean government to develop air dome farms that enables mass production. With 100% renewable energy, underground salt water in the UAE can be desalinated and used as agricultural water, and at the same time the underground salt water can be purified so that clean groundwater can be handed over to the next generation. We can support the UAE to achieve the 2051 vision to be the world-leading hub of innovation-driven food security through atmospheric water solutions and air farm food security solutions. Achieve the #1 global food security index with Midbar. Bloom the desert, Midbar.